up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EraBody's podcast, where generations collide and cultures combine. Today is special, man, for so many reasons. It's Father's Day. So we have a Father's Day edition. And we also have our guest, L. Purnell, in the building, who will be with us the whole show while we highlight Father's Day. What's up, L?
What's going on, world?
Happy Father's Day, brother.
Thank
Happy
you, man.
Father's Day.
Appreciate it. Happy Father's Day to y'all, too, bro.
Same here, brother. What's up?
What's up?
What's going on, everybody? Man, this is a Father's Day, but we're not going to jump from on what's going on because we have some things going on. We have the Juneteenth holiday just passed. Overall, what do you think about the Juneteenth holiday? Like, what do
You
you
gonna
think?
start with the youngest person?
Yeah, I'm the.
All right. So I had to do a little digging about Juneteenth,
Right.
right? And one of my, good friends told me, we've been free. We still trying to define what Juneteenth actually is. Plus, I had to do some work on that day, so I didn't enjoy any festivities.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy nothing. But also, I'm just still trying to figure out what does it mean for us, and maybe y'all can enlighten me, during this episode. So I want to find out from Elle before you answer.
All right, go ahead.
Honest, I think it's. I think since there's been this wave of it lately in the years, I think it's just a proper commercialization. I think what it should stand for, it doesn't. But in a sense of like, for me, it just blended into what we already do in America. And for me, I'm just tired of the holiday stuff, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm tired of being honest. I as us as Americans, as Black Americans, I'm tired of us gearing up to celebrate these holidays, all of them in general, because I think it takes away from the larger picture of what we could focus on. It actually, for me, highlights that things that we actually can focus on and be better at. And just adding another holiday then that you go in, get colors, buy stuff, say the things, do the things. It just pours money into an economy that's not going to help you anyway. That's how I view it. But I think what Juneteenth could stand for us should be bigger, should be better, and it should be on a larger scale annually, not just, we're just going to dive in this day. I think it should represent something that we live by. Not just that day.
Man, well said, man. And I'm pushing in the same direction. Wherever the United States government get their hands on anything, is going downhill from there. I don't know if you know this, Rick, but they used to call it in Harlem the penny game. The penny game was the lottery. Lottery was considered illegal. The United States government got his hands on it. Once he get his hands on it, commercialize it. Alcohol with the prohibition. With this holiday, from my own thing was, they've been celebrating it. They have people in these country towns. Juneteenth was a day where they pull out a big picnic and they were celebrating it. And they was buying from each other. Whatever economy was, if it was $30,000 that went around, it went around directly to them because they made it an emphasis of going to each other's business on that particular day. Now, grandmother, Earlene go get her and Uncle Earl Juneteenth shirts from Walmart. Walmart looked at the calendar like, man, we really doing good with this little holiday. They running meat specials now. So everybody capitalizing on it, commercializing, and one of these big stations took a camera around and was asking everybody, what do Juneteenth mean? And many people cannot tell you what it means or whatever. So in Galveston, Texas, it was already free. The announcement was made, but I don't know if information got delayed or Texas didn't want to abide by what was going on. They held slaves up until this particular day, and that's why they let the last slave free, the last slaves free on Juneteenth. So that's what it was celebrating for, that we are free. But if you was to ask them people about 4th of July, they clear about it. So to make it a national holiday, it didn't clarify what it is, and don't put it in schools like you do at all the rest of them. It's kind of, most people just they confused about what the day is. Even black, white, and all other races, they know they got a day off, but they don't know what it stands for and what it means, and they don't celebrate it with the intent of, wow, this is really a dog day in American history. There should be a teaching day in American history, wherever education is involved, but it's not. It's just one of those commercialized days, and they capitalize off it big. Yeah.
Well, I think I got a better understanding now, of we don't have a definition of what it actually is.
Right.
But it's crazy too that we have to share the same month with men's black mental health
month.
and also Pride Month.
Pride Month.
Like, it's a lot going on within this month, bro, and it's really confusing.
Right. And it like you said, Father's Day, Pride Month, Juneteenth, and men's mental health month. We don't get a break.
Yeah.
It's only 12 months, so they're gonna jam pack stuff. Like Financial Literacy Month is April, and that's Autism Month. So they're gonna dedicate months is only 12, so months are gonna have to share stuff. But Men's Mental Health Month being in June, I think was intentional around that. They do that for Father's Day, but adding other stuff in is just wherever they can put it.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, let's talk about mental health a little bit too. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are y'all mentally, man? Today is our day. You know what I'm saying? This is one of the days we should feel uplifted. Do you feel uplifted? Do you feel love today?
And with me, I go into these holidays. I'm not a holiday person. I'm not a get up for Halloween. Get up. I just don't have it in me. I will say that you should carry your ass like this every day. If somebody got to give you, and families get into fights over this, I'm literally giving you a day for you to celebrate. And when I have to correct black people on this all the time, when they say, ain't like it used to be. You never had a tradition. Back then, Rick, it was like this. Jobs only had 2 shifts. Morning shift, evening shift. That's it. Now, the world worked their way into, all right, well, we McDonald's, we could be open 24 hours. We Walmart, we could be open 24 hours now. Now, because of jobs and everything, people got to work more, and the holidays don't seem as, I got to go by my grandmother's house, because you ain't never had a tradition. Now, if you was to say, with our family, let's say we all family, every third Saturday we gonna get together no matter what in every month. That's 12 times a year. So that's your family tradition that you created. I'd rather get excited over that, man, I'm gonna chill with my cousin them today or whatever, than this overinflated holiday that it's not. Christmas don't represent what Christmas is supposed to be. Thanksgiving don't represent. It's just like all these holidays just made up for the mainstream to make some money. So I'm over it, just like what he said. But getting them to realize that you'll all get on with your family because, man, we just won't get together. Nah, I'm not on that.
Say it, community. It sound like my boy D need a hug.
Yeah, but I'm like this every day. I get enjoyed rather going fishing. I just showed a video that we were playing horseshoes, and on those particular days, we just get out and we do this because this is what we want to do, not because it's a planned day that somebody gave us. Because if I can give it to you, I can take it back from you. And that's how our life, as we know it coming up, it wasn't planned. Our grandmother and all them ain't had a plan, and we had a family tradition. It was we fit in what they was doing. So now they tweaked their system. Now our system got tweaked. So I think families need to focus on more creating family traditions. Like we have family Bible study once a month. We have family financial literacy night once a month. We have even our Kool-Aid that we drink. It's a family recipe. Mm-hmm. So this is the type of stuff that we do. If you come out of the house, you'll be drinking. You can call it whatever you want it. My kid's gonna look at you and say, "Oh, that's a family recipe." I can't tell you that. So that's the type of tradition I want to create with me and mine.
You asked about mental health. Mental health is good. I think when they say it's mental health, Men's Mental Health Month, like I said, I think they threw it into June because it's Father's Day. But the weight of that as a man is heavy. So I think it is a choice on how you choose to carry yourself daily. Like, I'm going to get up. I'm going to choose to be happy. I consider myself to just be a generally genuine, happy person overall. And with that, I think I come into spaces where like I'm able to compartmentalize things that I don't like, things that I don't want to do, and and make it a purposeful thing. Like this is why I'm doing this, or this is what I'm doing this for. Or this gets me to the next step. So I just think of it in terms of like that. But mentally, yeah, I'm all good.
You all good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna answer my own question too. I feel good. You know what I'm saying? Besides the text messages, that's the gifs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
People send you gifs. I'm like, you could just say it in words. You using, the creation of someone else.
Right.
Send me the words. I want to feel appreciated because on Mother's Day and every other holiday, and I feel the same as you guys, but I send it in words. Don't shortchange me. That's how I feel. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even my son tried to send me a GIF. I'm like, man, I'm right here. Like, come
Right.
give me a hug. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, cause that's important. But as far as like Black men's mental health month, you know what I'm saying? Overall, just like yourself, L, just like you too, D. I compartmentalize. My feelings and emotions. I wake up happy by choice, on purpose. You know what I'm saying? You have to as a man. All the things that we go through, sometimes is misunderstood in the eyes of the next person. Even our female counterparts is like, okay, we've been ordained and called upon to be the warrior. So showing that soft emotion, I feel sometimes still, is confusing even to our counterparts. So, even when I'm not all right, I'm all right. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Do you think that when it comes down to that, you see a woman open up to another woman and tell her all her problems, and they just met at the coffee shop, and men not like that. Men hold his guards up. Man, who are you for me to be telling you my problems I have? And I think that when they say elders, they don't have as many as old timers. Like I got a mentor myself. They don't have trusted men that you could say, man, I'm having this problem or whatever. I think a lot of times men are open up because what's in front of them, they don't perceive as solid. You're not a solid guy. You're not a solid man. Them opening up to you, not only you gonna leave that wound open, you're not gonna help them heal it, but you telling someone else a problem that they may have or whatever, and that's the ultimate betrayal with men. I came to you for advice about this particular thing, and now I'm walking through the streets and I'm hearing the same problem I told you that somebody know. I think that's why women freely cry in front of another woman or whatever and tell them all that, but men will be like, nah, I take this shit to my grave, man. It'll kill them or whatever, but they're just not gonna go through it because, like you said, trusted sources I think is limited. And what we're seeing with the generation coming up now, that having men around that you can actually talk to, that's big because it's rare. You got a lot of guys you can have fun with. Before it's just talk to man to man, like, man, I'm going through this. You've been married for 5 years. He been married for 25 years. What's sustaining you and whatever? Yeah, and you tell him your problem, and he be like, you know what? I had that same problem. This and this happened or whatever. But this is what I had to learn to do. Those conversations rarely, because it's a trust thing. Like, we cool, but I ain't that cool with you.
So, L, how do you feel we break the trust? That trust barrier that we have in brotherhood.
I think that goes back to the family structure. Like you got to go back to when you was a kid. Like, and I say this about our generation. Our generation got good at either not saying or hiding things because they didn't have anywhere to go. When you think about this in the terms of you being a kid, you could literally walk through your neighborhood, well, I could say in my neighborhood, and you could just see a bunch of women on the step, right? They will probably have a conversation at some point about what a niece or daughter confided in them about and wanted it to stay there. But those mothers or grandmothers, aunties or whatever, chatted with each other about that child's business. So as that child grew, that child began to look at it like, well, damn, I don't have anywhere to go with this. And so when you take that, let's make it a boy, you already a boy going to grow into a man. Men handle their own problems, right? So on top of having that mentality built in, you're now thinking, damn, in addition to me feeling like I have to handle my own problems, if I did need help, where am I going to go? So you look at it from a sense of where we have a generation of women at our age that didn't go to that were betrayed by their mothers, aunts, grandmothers, until to their aunts, aunties, and grandmothers. And so with guys, it's whatever my problem is, I have to handle myself anyway. But then when I get a certain age, I don't have anywhere to go with that anyway. What that should look like is, I had an uncle who was a great painter, right? And I could go to, let's say I go to my aunt and say, hey, man, I'm having trouble with this. Because you're a kid, you may not know all the things that your uncles and aunts are good at. Mm-hmm. And you go to an aunt saying, hey, I'm having trouble with this. Oh, she could easily be like, oh, your uncle's good at that, go over there. That should actually be the end of the thing. Mm-hmm. But at some point, that aunt that you went to and say, hey, I'm having trouble with this, my uncle has this resource, I'll go to my uncle, right? Either he's helping me or not. But that aunt is on the phone like, yeah, girl, he came over here today looking for help for this. And you could just be a kid or a teen. Over some point in your life, that just hardens you a certain way.
Yeah.
So I think of it like that. That's a family structure thing.
Yeah. I feel like the betrayal, you mentioned betrayal, and I want to like dive into that. Like when we seek out for help, like I feel humans are the only thing on this earth that doesn't have instruction manual. And you said betrayal. A lot of the times when we go to people, and I still want y'all input, we go to people who we feel like can help us, or we can confide in, and feel like they should have a solution. But in actuality, people don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we call it betrayal a lot of the times when they may be genuinely seeking help for you, but they can't do it on their own. Like they need help from someone else.
Right.
So how do we kind of reverse that vision or imagination of betrayal into people actually there to support and help?
I try my best not to be a gospeler. As much as I talk, much funny as I am, jokes or whatever, I never been considered as a man as a gospeling as man or whatever. A man could tell me something that if I'm seeking help, I can call up another man in a manly way, and I think it's how it's done or whatever. So if you was to come to me, Rick, with something, and then I was to say Saturday morning when you get up, come with me, and then I take you to L. It's how I went about. You could see the genuineness in me trying to help you with this particular situation. I think what we all know, what we call as a bitch ass nigga or doing something big, is how it's done. It's the slander. It's the way you went about saying what I came to you about, and now is out there in a way that I probably didn't. You made me look bad. That's not what I intend. But I'm one to learn from always looking. So it don't happen to me because I see it happening, and now in the back of my mind, I know it happened to me, so I just don't even go use those tools. I could, with all my uncles, I don't know that much about them. Outside like general information, like I ain't ever sit down and had a conversation with my uncles and like really open up and really get to know them. It never happened like that, and I think that's one of the things also. Like he ain't never said what his problem was. What makes somebody open up if you really was, let's just say if you was on drugs and you was to tell me, now the person to feel comfortable with saying, you know what, man, I heard what you were saying. How you was able, if I had a drug problem, but whether they cheated or they got over a hurt or whatever, they never talk about it. So by you, the older generation, the burden is on you to open up to the younger generation. Now that makes me feel comfortable. I can talk with them about it. But I think that man qualities and all, and carrying yourself like a man, We all have our way how we think a man should carry himself. And I think that once a man don't fit in that box, you may be cool with him. You're like, nah, you know, he a bitch ass nigga.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think too. Like I still go, for me. I go back to the family structure on that, and also like when like using the word betrayal. What I'm defining in that setting is more like because let's just say your great aunts, right? You got 6 great aunts. They were doing that. They didn't see it as that. So when your moms and aunts came to them for stuff and they chatted back amongst themselves about what, let's say your mom went to your great aunt for advice and your great aunt told her sister, which is your mom's great aunt, other aunt. They don't see that as betrayal because that's just what they've been doing before. And your mom's not going to say, you know, when I came to you about such and such and confided in you, and then you told my other auntie, that hurt me. What they did was just say, well, I'm just not going to go there. And they live with that hurt. Living with that hurt, they bred kids through that hurt. So now, like he's saying, he never had these conversations with his uncles or anything like that. He doesn't know, like, beyond the things that's general information about them. That can happen. It could go generation to generation like that. Because then you think, okay, well, it's just me, and I have to solve my problems. Because 2 generations ago, a cousin went to an aunt and got hurt and never said nothing. So they just brought it down and down and down and down.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess in this sense, who do we trust? You know, and the reason I'm asking that, because now we all have children. You know what I'm saying? Hell, you have a boy.
Yeah.
You have a young boy too, huh?
Yeah.
But how do we change the trajectory, if I'm using the right word, of their future? And I'm asking these questions because I'm learning too. You know what I'm saying? I'm a learner.
Yeah. For me, that doesn't intent. Like, I'm intentional about conversations, and I could come off like, man, my dad is on me. And then you get to certain spots and be like, the fruits of those conversations or the fruits of those him being on me is visual now, is tangible now. Versus you could decide to go the other way and be like, I don't want to do that. But if you go the other way, it'll take more years for you to see, damn, I could have done that here. And now I'm here and I got a lot to work back on. So I had this conversation, like, and at my age or stage of life in fatherhood and manhood, I'm looking at fatherhood from here back, right? And so what that looks like for me is you're intentional about the partner. You're intentional about where the seed comes from, because the page that we're on, whether we're together or not, is the page that we're going to raise them on. See, because if you put the seed there and you're not on the same page, if the split occurs, your kids will be off stripped from you. See? And now you're fighting for stuff that they were inbred in, right? Yeah. You put them in oil, they've been raised in cooking oil when you've been trying to have them in water. And so clearly they don't. So when you take them out the cooking oil, put them in the water, you got cooking oil floating on top of the water. Obviously they don't mix, but that's what they was bred in. It's easy for them to navigate in that. And you'll be stuck fighting against that because you didn't have same pageness with where your seeds were created.
That's deep.
One of the things that I try to do even now better, I make it clear to my kids that I'm the number 1 fan and I'm the top advisor. So it's not my job to be your friend. I have an advisory role. I had to tell one of my babies, Sanaya came home for college and she wanted to go run and drop something about her friend off at 11 p.m. You know, we come from a generation where a child should be seen but not heard. So I explained to her why my no is no. See, I told her, whatever bank loan you filled out for, at 11 p.m., they're not gonna call and tell you you approve or not approve. Whatever good news that was going to come from any financial institution was not going to come at 11 p.m. None of this is going to come at 11. The only call that I would get from 11 p.m., possibly if you get there and you call me and tell me you made it there, but a debt call. So to prevent you from leaving out this house at 11 o'clock at night just to go drop something off that I know could be dropped off in the morning is no. So now I have to get you to see it from my perspective, and I explain it to you like that. You see it as a run, a 5-minute or 8-minute run. I see it as it could be the worst phone call that come your way and mess up your life. So as your advisor, I have to step in and be a father. So, and I try to lead my kids like that. Well, I explain to them more and more of my decision making. Not all decisions, but I think that it makes me a better parent when I can get them on page and see I'm working with logic, not just on feelings. Because oftentimes, they get excited about when they see other people doing things. Now, you can have your child can have a good friend, Rick, and they gonna protect your child. They're gonna look out for your child. But one of the things when it comes down to your child, let's just say if they curse a lot in their house and they smoke weed, but they're gonna protect your child. But that part of it, what your child picked up from. So when he says not intentionally just having them, you intentionally with your kids expose to them what they're around or whatever. You have to be a parent to limit that situation because they could have a gay uncle in the house. He might not touch them with all, but his ways, it makes them curious as kids or whatever. Well, he get all the attention. He come over the house and he go to acting like that, and everybody thinking they think that that's cool or whatever. So your intent as a parent, like he said, it have to be intentional now. Where my kids hang at now, who my kids hanging around. At one time, I just thought they'll figure it out. Nah, you got to be intentional about this. Man, we're going to continue more with this conversation. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And don't forget, this episode is brought to you by EraBody's Coffee. Let's everybody have a drink.
Tell everybody, it's time for everybody. Wake up, everybody. This for everybody.
Welcome back, everybody, to this great Father's Day edition. It's so important for us, and I would encourage my father. He's one of our top fans, and other fathers that's watching this. We just walking down perspective, and I think that what's not said enough is we talked about how it come down tradition wise. It is never looked at because they never said what was going on. Because I never met my father. Have you ever met Pops his dad?
Yeah.
You ever talked to him?
I never talked to him, but
I'm gonna show you how crazy it is. Even my stepfather, who this the blessing we sit in between. My mother has been married for over 20-some years. She been with her husband like 30. Would you say 30 years?
Over 30.
Over 30 years. And my dad has been with his wife for over 32. And they've been both of them been married over 25 years. So I know my daddy wife, which is my mother, her mother is still living. On my mama's side, my mother died in 1981. Don't know too much about her. On my daddy's side, my daddy don't even never bring up his daddy. So I couldn't tell you, know how they say they'll chip off the old block? I could say that to Lil Rick, because if you around me and your daddy a lot, boy, I could see where you got these traits from. I don't go back with my father enough. Like I said, this stuff that they don't talk about. My stepfather have a picture of him being with the Indians for Mardi Gras. That was a big thing in their family. That was big, but he never talked about it. So a lot of stuff, you're being raised by people, but they don't tell you where the tradition came from or why they do things a certain way. So now, if you cutting it off and you don't want to do it, are you cutting off the tradition because they're not explaining to you? That's like my mom and them with the splitting poles, the cooking black eyed peas and cabbage on New Year's. He's still spitting his pee.
Me too.
Yeah, he said because he told because you're gonna get a what? A star on the eye. If you break a mirror, these tradition right now. If you can't explain it to me, I split the pole on purpose. I won't see it. And I even seen it when the movie I was telling you about with Jamie Foxx played that lawyer or whatever. He said, "Oh, don't split the poles." He told the lawyer that. So it's these things that come from places, and when this generation don't want to do it, a lot of old generation like my mom. We were with my mom last night, and her purse was on the floor. I was at the Women of Many Hats, and I seen so many of them women put their their purse on the floor like with no problem, and they my age. We are not letting that tradition come down without an explanation. Like, what do you guys get to when it rain? What happened? When it rain in the sun, what goes on?
Devil's crying.
The devil beating his wife.
Yeah. Oh, the devil beating his wife.
That's what they said.
I
The
ain't
devil
heard
crying.
that. I ain't
It's
heard
like,
that.
yeah, that's what they used to say. The devil beating his wife. So it's like these traditions. So you think that we need to do a better job of when we are doing something? That's why I started creating my family tradition. Everything I do, I'll be like, that's family tradition right there. We even have a game that we play when we in the car. My kids allowed, like say we was in the car, they'll say, the next person that can find a yellow bus. So now that person, when you find it, now it's your turn. But that's our family tradition. So do you think that we need to do a better job of getting explanation of where some of this come from? Is it spookism? Is it real tradition, like why they did it?
Well, so that's a lot.
Yeah.
So, little tip: I do if I pee outside somewhere, I do spit in my pee. But
Why
the
you still scared of it?
Well, I'm not scared of it. I could keeping a G. Y'all know a limo driver. One night on, I think I was off Broad in the Broadmoor. I'm tucked and I got like a big job coming up. Let's say it was 9 o'clock. It was like 8:30. I'm on chill, and man, I peed. I got out the car and peed because I had a bush, right? And man, I got 5 stars on my eye, bruh. And I know, keeping it real, I know it wasn't because I peed outside. I didn't spit in my pee, just probably because my hand was dirty and I rubbed it.
Right.
But man, that kept me going.
5
That
stars.
kept 5, brother. And I put the thing on. 3 of them came. I had to get medicine to get one of them out. So
Yeah.
that was the thing. But to go into all you said, like that's another component of manhood, fatherhood, even chiefhood. I take that from Dr. Calvin Mackey. And, you know, he said the 3 phases of a man is manhood, fatherhood, and chiefhood. Manhood is plain. It's when you have the ability to sufficiently take care of yourself. Then you have fatherhood where you take care of yourself, then you take care of what you produced. And chiefhood is now that you doing all of this with your kids, but little Jimmy across the street ain't got no daddy. If he gonna play with your kids, you gotta put something in him too, so the neighborhood could be all right. But tradition, talking about traditions as you speak, it's supposed to be that way. But you would have gotten that from home. Going back to the family structure, you would have knew it was okay for you to go out, get a wife, create a family, and create the traditions y'all want. Your family is supposed to let you know, like, hey, we doing Thanksgiving, but if y'all don't want to come, that's cool. Because y'all creating the family that y'all gonna have.
Right.
So like you saying those things that you do about tradition, like I got this from Pastor Luda too. Shout out to Pastor Luda Senior. I mean Junior, because he, not Chip. He talked about the great grandmother cutting the legs off the chicken when she baked it. Mm-hmm. You heard that?
Yeah.
And so like you get 3 generations down and you like, hey, why you cut the legs off? And you're like, oh, my mama did it that way. Mama-in-law, why Denise cut the chickens off the leg? Oh, my mama did it that way. Or great grandma, why you cut the great grandma? And you get the great grandma, oh, my pan was too small. So y'all 7 generations in cutting the leg off when the only reason Big Mama did it was because her pan was small. Now you got money for bigger pans, but you still doing something because, like he said, they never explained it.
That's wild.
Yeah,
That's wild.
Yeah. So, and when it's never explained, it puts you in a situation like this that a lot of that stuff, and to older generation, they think that we rebelling. Nah, it don't make any sense for me to do this or whatever. So if it don't make no sense for me to do it, then I'm not gonna do this because you want to keep face or whatever on this bullshit ass tradition. Mm-hmm. So and like my kids are allowed to ask questions. Like I said, I was raised in a house that you should be seen. You don't question anything.
Right.
So do you think we are breaking the tradition of don't ask Don't ask me why or whatever. Just do what I tell you to do or whatever.
I feel at this point in time, kids do need a voice because again, like y'all been saying pretty much the whole episode that we've been on hush. You know what I'm saying? Our feelings have been neglected, and we're at a time where even when social media is playing a huge role in what these kids have access to visually, is playing kind of tricks on their mind. You know what I'm saying? So in order to break the tradition of kids should be seen, not heard, I feel like we should involve them more into conversations, and that's what I do with my boys. You know what I'm saying? I could count on hand how many times I had to literally bust their ass because I remember how much I got whipped, and it wasn't just no regular belt whippings. Like
Right.
it was going pull branches off the tree, not switches, not the thin ones. You better bring a thick one in this bitch. I'm gonna go pull it myself. You know what I'm saying? It was those type of things. I'm gonna get the brum, but I didn't want to instill that fear into them.
Right.
So I try to have conversations, they firm conversations.
Right.
But just letting them, like you say, they just letting them have a opinion, letting them ask questions. Because again, they don't know and they want to know. And who are we to shun them off for them asking something that they should have access to?
Yeah. Before you say that, E, nothing is more embarrassing, and I would say laughable embarrassment, than your child outshining you with knowledge. I have taken my kids to school, and social media is not always bad. They have watched somebody talk about the Democratic Party. I have watched a 10-year-old put a mud hole in an adult ass over the Democratic Party, and they sitting there, well, we Democrats. That's why when I say you better be able to explain yourself, because now information is at the fingertips.
Yep.
And now this little girl watching this, and I'm sitting there like, man, she stomping a mud hole in her grandma and her mama ass, and they sitting right there. Well, we Democrats. That shit is not flying now. And and this is a great conversation. I want to older generation. It's not that they're rebellion. It don't make sense. If you want to vote Democrat because you say that's what I want to do, but how you gonna get mad if a child asks you why are we voting and you can't articulate yourself on why? And as a teacher with yourself, like, do you think it should be explained to your why?
Yeah, I think a lot of us come from the because I said so, and so you wasn't equipped to know better. Like for me, I think my oldest is 22, and I think I started whooping them when she was probably like 9 or 10. The reason why, like, because I never said the reason why I started whooping them because I didn't want the hand that hugs them to represent the same hand they probably got to jump for when they gonna get their ass bust. So that was just a personal decision for me. But like my mom came to my house one day and like they were jumping all over the sofas and stuff, and she was like, because we didn't sit on my mom's sofa, so she probably looking. Because to me, I'm like, hey, we could get another sofa. Like it's cool. I had to tell my son that one time about. I don't remember exactly what the thing was, but telling him like it was cool. I'm like, yeah, we could get another that. We can't get another mod, but we could get, we could get the thing. But in that state of this is what I said because that's what I said. A lot of even down to religion, politics, even like I talked about this with my cousin, I think, just briefly, and I said, I call them grandma-isms. People take grandma-isms as gospel. The sayings your grandma had is not in the Bible, dude. That's not God don't put more you don't handle. Show it to me. Mm-hmm. It's not in there. So all of these sayings that we've grown up around, where grandmothers are saying this, passing them down to mothers, and your mother says it outward like it's true and it's religion, and you just live in a house with like, damn. Where I think is explaining your kids is about equipping them. Explaining something to your kids is about equipping them for out there. Because I always tell my kids, I ain't raised you to live here when you're 35 and live with me. You going out there. Mm-hmm. You going to do something good in the world. You're not standing here. You going to college. You going, that's the standard of which I want to come from it at. And so you take those same type of things into a household where the household could be divided. Or it's okay if these kids do this. When you're saying, no, it's not okay, because long term, that's going to affect them.
So on a spiritual level, this just bring me to a question about, spirituality or religion. Not spirituality. I feel like religion. Within the religious structure, the Ten Commandments and those different things, do you feel like that those stipulations or those statutes that were created then was meant to hinder the way we progress even within our family? Because it feels like when you look at it, everything is wrong according to religion. So it makes you second guess a lot about, how you move forward and how you discipline your child.
Right. I would say, to me, when it comes down to religion as a whole, I hear this and I see it a lot of times, and it irks me where the Bible is the only thing, and they use it as a tool against you. It's when they use, you notice how Jesus only get the credit? He never get, he only get the credit, good credit, mean well, never wrong. And to the women out there that use Jesus and religion as a stick in your life, the problem that you have is, let's just say you have a husband. If he late, he late. Jesus always on time, but he is late. He may not come when you want him to come. That means your husband couldn't buy you what he want on Mother's Day or Valentine's Day, but 2 weeks later he able to do it. But you can't forgive him for being late or not on time. But you figure and manufacture a way to always put Jesus you highlight him. So I think the black community, I can't speak for no other community. They have used religion as a tool to demonetize and minimize the African American father. He's never. It's almost like they use him as the punching bag and all the negative that they want to say. He better burden. See, I want to be serious about this. A lot of people can deal with Jesus. I ask women this all the time. Tell me what Jesus' breath smell like. Can he cook? Do his feet stink? See, if you're in a relationship with someone, you have to deal with them. See, you don't have to deal with Jesus. So a lot of them, it's easy just to use Jesus as a scapegoat and deal with him and give him all the credit. But Jesus' breath don't stink in the morning or whatever. When he come home from work, his boots, he forgot. Jesus could never forget to pick up the groceries or whatever. Take the check and make a deposit. Pick up the kids. Your phone went dead when I was trying to call you. You don't have to deal with Jesus and never get that emotional. So it's easy to have a relationship with Jesus, Santa Claus, Tooth Fairy, and all them, because you don't have to deal with them. Mm-hmm. So if you truly in a relationship with people, I tell them that the person you decide to be with, it's you and that person. I'm not so heavy on if y'all go to church or not, because you know what? The jailhouse is packed and stacked with Christians that believe in supposedly be living the truth of what that word say. And they in there because they went against the very word that they say. So I'm not heavy on that. A person is a good person, not judged on whether you believe in Jesus, Muhammad, Gandhi, or any one of them. It's who you are as a person and you walking right and living in that purpose or whatever. That's what I believe in. And my family, I'm not heavy on that. You giving all your extra resources to something, and now 10 years in, y'all ain't got nothing but shirts with patches on. Y'all ain't nothing but Associated Pleasure Club. They don't own nothing at the end of their 10 years, and you don't own nothing at 10 years. So I'm not big on taking my extra resources, giving it to anybody. And if a man is another man, he'll tell you that. Don't give your last to the church. I seen a story, we talked about it one time before, Rick, and I'm gonna let them talk after this. With an old lady giving her last to the church. She was on a fixed income and then got to borrow from her sons and all that. The son approached the pastor and told him that. That's wrong in all type of level, but he ain't never gonna say as a man, don't give me your last. I'm not, why would I take your last, Rick? Knowing you got a family, you got to feed your family in bills and tell you it's gonna multiply. When? Tell that to Energy. Tell that to the homeowner company. Tell that to my insurance company. It's gonna multiply. There ain't a scripture in the world you can get to tell it to them. And a lot of them do that. And a lot of women, African American women, it's so easy to have a relationship with Jesus because you don't have to deal with him on a daily basis. You can go ahead, brother.
Hold on. Before you go, I want to ask you one more question, brother.
Yes.
Why you doing your fingers like this?
Yeah, not the shooter. Don't shoot the messenger.
That's a lot. I'll take a different approach, as in from the educational approach of it, right? And understanding what the reading literacy is, the reading percentages is, just in the whole in America. By my last calculation, only 3% of Americans read. So when I'm running across people that are either biblically based, Quran based, if you know their book, I minimize a lot of conversations because I know this and I know that they don't know this. So I'm not going to even engage the conversation. Like, if I know the Bible and you say you're a Christian and you don't know the Bible, then I'm not trying to get in no debate with you about the Bible because you haven't read your own book to know what you should. You know what I'm saying? That's just from an educational standpoint. If only 3% of Americans read, you're not in your book like you say you're in your book, right? Most people gonna spend their time, you probably read emails more than you read the Bible. So I'm not as fixated on I'm about to get in this heated debate with you about religious beliefs and all of that. I do think as far as being a good person, some of the things he said, as a man, I'm not going somewhere and steal. If I kill somebody, it's in defense of me. I'm not just going to kill somebody, right? So when you talk about the commandments and those things, I'm looking at them as it applies to me. I'm just not stealing because I'm not a stealing person. Like, if I don't have it, I know I'll get it, or I could wait, I'm gonna get it. That's my approach to getting something that I want. Same thing with as thou shalt not kill. I'm just not killing because I don't have a reason to. If somebody tried to offend me in that way, I'm going to. But I think religion as a whole is a divisive tool. It's because if everybody dropped a religion, as an adult, what being a good person is.
Right. So it's embedded in us what's right and what's wrong. I feel like, as it pertains to religion myself, I had to steer away from religion because I was left confused again to the why, and nobody could answer the why. I had this one time I told you on one episode, D, that I got kicked out of the what you call that?
Church, Bible study.
No, when you're a part of the church because you ain't pay your tithes. A member.
A member.
Yeah, a member of the church because I couldn't pay tithes. Mind you, I was only 13, 14 years old. I wasn't able to take care of tithes, but it was time to vote. And this pastor resonated with me, his message, and ever since then, the dude lost by one vote. The pastor lost by one vote. My vote, and that's why voting matters, y'all. Like, one vote could literally change,
right?
The outcome. And from that day forward, I was, I was beating myself up mentally, man, I did so much stuff for this church. I thought they was God-fearing citizens. How could they do me like this?
Right.
And I just had a total different outlook. So growing up, I still had to break that tradition because it was a tradition in my family, my small family, because it was really pretty much only my mom and my 5 brothers. And she was heavy. She still is heavy on Jesus. So some of these things I can't go and talk to her about,
right? Because
she's still going to revert back to Jesus. Now I understand the God aspect. But the Jesus part, I don't need a middleman to talk to God.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the same way now. Even good morning, the terminologies and words that I use, I don't even say good morning.
Yeah, you always say
peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.
Peace every time I greet anybody in my family who I feel like family is peace and blessings. Ain't no good morning.
Right.
Because morning is sorrow, like you sad about something.
Right.
So the terminology and the words that we speak is another thing of tradition. How do we even know if the sky is blue? I'm going through all these different changes and thought cycles in my mind. I'm trying to filter out what's right for me. So within my family is peace and blessings, and I feel like tradition is a tool. it's a tool. And I asked that question because still I'm trying to figure it out. But I feel again that humans don't have instructions. So everything is determined and based off what your reality is.
Right. Why? So why is this? Like, you talk about Jesus, God, and and I stand on that. Religion is a divisive tool because again, if you lay it all down, we as human beings, adult, mature human beings, know how to behave in society. Laws are set and all of that, right? But like the God factor, one of the things that I'm glad that I have a large variety of life experience, that I've gotten to go out into this world, live different places, see different things, see different cultures, experience so much, right? And this is a shout out to my wife. I know like as we sit here on Father's Day, I know all of that stuff I just said about experience and life. I had to go and do that and develop that and become that, right? To be the man, the husband, the father to our kids in the house for this woman. Because to me, God has taken care of this woman, right? Till I got it. And that's how I look at it. When I think about things like even in our house, I'll be like, there's no way this has been here till I got it. Because I'm like, but I know that God has taken care of this woman for me till I got it. And then now it's bigger on me. It's like you have a responsibility, not just to her, but to me, to take care of what I've taken care of, what I've given you. I look at it like that when it comes to my wife. So shout out to my wife.
Yeah.
And I want to say this. Dealing with previous generations of father, education, how I know it's so important for me. Getting educated, learning different things, how important it is and how distant you think from the previous generation to our generation in education. Because I don't come from a house of reading. Like my mother, I don't think no auntie, no uncle consistently read not just books but different books. And I think that we live in a society where, like, every recorded Martin Luther King, Malcolm X speech, I have heard, we recommend each other's speeches and all that. You go back and listen to these things and you read these things. So would you say we move more on logic in education, and a previous generation move based, it could be logic because a lot of time in life experience, but education aspect of it is cut off. Would you agree to that?
I agree to the logic and education part as pertains to the era that we in now, because we are creating that. We creating that.
Yeah, I believe, and there's a homage that I would love to give to the generation of men before us. Because working with their hands, doing things, from a societal standpoint, as a whole standpoint, they did the things that they thought was best, that they believed that they could do. Like visually, just like, oh man, I could be the president. They probably just didn't feel like that. They probably feel like, man, but I can work with my hands, take care of my family, buy a house, and so that next generation is the unstoppable, because I work so hard, because I use my hands to make these sacrifices, work late, be away, right? That you'll be able to use that as a stepping stone up and up and up like that until we get to a certain place. But the other side of that, which that's a great thing, the other side of that is the conditions that we steady buy into. So in partnership with your father doing things, working, or your parents working hard, making the sacrifices, sometimes they're still investing money into things that's not going to pay them back, like those holidays we talked about, buying outfits and all of that. None of those things, nobody's going to ever say, man, I got this Easter outfit when I was 7, is why I'm the president of General Motors. Mm-hmm. They're not going to say that.
Yeah.
Right. Once again, we're going to take a quick commercial break, man. I hope you guys are enjoying this great conversation with fathers. I hope this conversation can move a generation on forward in just perspective. The way none of us is right or wrong, but the way we view things and see things. All right, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we coming right back.
Tell everybody, it's time for everybody. Wake up, everybody. This for everybody.
Welcome back, everybody. Man, this is such a touching moment. So I will ask both of you guys, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here to enhance and advance us as fathers, the next generation, and help the previous generation move forward with us, and them don't think that we're being disrespectful and moving anything out of the way. We want you to come forward with us. How do we go forward and move and repair and fix some of these things, relationship wise, and just move forward as men?
I feel like we start now, all the information that, especially for me, you know what I'm saying? In the audience, I want y'all to get what y'all get. But for me, I understand that my journey starts today.
Right.
I can't live in the past, and especially sitting in next to so much experience. You know what I'm saying? And L, you enlightened me in so many different ways, and it's actually inspiring too. I'm not inspired by a lot of people, but sitting next to y'all, and D, I tell you all the time about how inspired I am of you. You know what I'm saying? To pour back into me. You get what I'm saying? But when I sit here and I realize that, again, life is what you make it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had their own different journeys coming up in this thing. Some had better experiences. Me, I try to erase all my experiences. Literally, I try to forget everything and just live for, what my time calls for. But I feel like today is where I'm at. I'm starting today and moving forward from here on out. But again, I feel like that men's circle is important for me too, because I'm still trying to define myself along with raising a whole nother 2 or 3 generations of boys.
Right.
And it can't be done alone.
I'm gonna ask you this question before L go. With you and your father, do you reach out, talk to him, or anything like?
I mean, we text periodically. Sometimes when I feel an urge to text him, like he try to text me now more. When I feel an urge that I just like, I want to reach out to him, I feel like I've been neglecting him, I text him first. You know what I'm saying? But I don't feel like it's my responsibility. I feel like out of respect of you being my father, I can do that. I can, kind of compromise a little bit with you, but I'm trying to change. I don't want my kids to have to feel the way that I feel about my dad. I love him because you my daddy.
Right.
You my father. Right. But I never got that daddy experience from you.
Right. L.
I think it's what Rick said. I'm a forward going, like, from here looking forward. What can I start the path to going down? Like, and I think the work from here going forward individually as a group collectively is what the people behind me would have to look at and say, okay, because I know I'm not going back. I'm not going back and forward. I'm not going, as they say, I'm not going out of my way. I'm not like, even simple things. Sometimes it's the simplest things. Like, you get the invite late, not going, you don't get invited, don't add. It's simple things like that. But whatever's behind me, if you back there, don't expect that I'm coming, because I'm not. I'm going this way.
Right. Man, where to close out. Moving forward. So moving forward look like us, Rick, we have the Grand Marshalman. L is our distant vice president from Houston. And trying to enhance and advance this community. Me and Rick work with kids all the time. So that work and showing them a better you on moving forward. And I like what El said. I'm not going back, and I don't care how you feel about whatever happened. Right. We only can move forward because we have so much work to do that going backwards, it just is holding you up. And preparation will create the separation. And where we going at now, I promise you, when we come back next year and have this, we're going to come back. if Most High see us to come back, the things that we're gonna lay out from next year, you're gonna see. We already taking we could talk about we taking 130 kids to a football camp of experience, not just a lifestyle camp that never have. We're moving forward, not just a camp. Football is just a sport. That's just a teaser. But we are coming in with life experience and everything. So we're moving forward in that direction. So to those who don't understand, and I will say, if you have a father that's living, you don't need to keep having conversation. If you feel that y'all need to have one conversation, just ask, can y'all have that conversation? Have that conversation and let it be over with. If it's going to be a relationship, let it be. If it's not, they did the best they can do in a timely manner that they did, because they understood what they understand in a time. All right. I'm the Honorable Darren D. Purnell, the street speaker himself. And do not forget to get our book, Business Minutes, on Amazon. Yo, Rick.
And you heard the man. Business Minutes on Amazon right now. So y'all make sure y'all copy y'all a copy. Happy Father's Day, L.
Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the men out there. Shout out to my kids. I love y'all. And my Carver kids, I love y'all too.
I love y'all. Happy Father's Day.